Hello everyone, my name is Bhavna. So here I am with my day 7 of Technocrat assignment. I'd like to proceed with the questions. So here the first question is, explain different high-level points with which we write in test plan with example. So test plan is nothing but the complete testing strategy or the complete plan with which a tester is going to test the complete software in any particular project. So it has different steps, standard steps which needed to be followed by the complete testing team. So here the first point is testing strategy or test approach. So as the name suggests, testing strategy has many subparts as well, which is testing levels, types of testings, testing devices, what platforms on which testing is to be done, and the complete testing process with which the tester is going to test the software. So testing level is nothing but like whether the tester is going to do the unit testing, the integration testing, or the system testing. This is testing levels. Types of testing is that whether the product is to be done by manual testing or automation testing. Testing device and platforms are all the testing devices used for testing that particular product. Like for bug reporting, like we are going to use Jira, which operating system we are going to use, and all that. So next step is what we write in a test plan document is scope of testing. So basically, scope of testing defines whether what are the features that needed to be tested in that product, and what are the features that are not needed to be tested that needs to be documented as well. And apart from that, even the exit and entry and exit criteria also falls under scope of testing. Like entry criteria means that when a tester is about to start the testing, before that, what are the what things needed to be done before that, like all the documentation part, writing the test plan, writing the test cases, the review meeting to be done for the test cases, or approval to be done for the test cases, specific testing environment is set or not. So all these comes under entry criteria. And exit criteria is like after the testing is done, whether the tester has given a sign of mail or not. All these falls under exit criteria. So the next step to be followed in test plan is testing artifacts and deliverables. So in this part, the tester should maintain all the documents which they prepare during the whole course of testing. Like for writing test cases, few project use Google spreadsheet, some uses some other tools. For bug reporting, they use Jira. So all the artifacts and deliverables, they should write all the tools and platforms they are using and their address as well, so that anybody from the team can track that document easily. So fourth point is project management process. So project management process is nothing but what are the tools are to be used for this particular project, and the complete process to manage that particular software. Like for internal communication, are the team going to use Telegram, Slack, or what? For bug reporting, Jira, like this. So these all falls on the project management process. So the next point is testing environment. Testing environment has like basically it has whether the testing is to be done in development environment, whether it has to be done in QA environment, whether it is to be done in staging or live. So these are the things which needed to be reported under testing environment. Sixth point is bug reporting template. So there should be a particular template for reporting the bug in Jira or any other particular tool, like the complete detail about the particular bug which a tester finds. for example, the operating system on which the bug was found, the version of the device on which the bug was found, how to recreate that bug, all the steps should be written, and then all the images and videos supporting that how the bug can be recreated by any other team member or developers. It should be shown in that screenshot or videos form so that it can be tracked easily. So this is like the complete bug reporting template which needed to be followed. So the seventh point is testing schedule and responsibility. In testing schedule and responsibility, like for each and every document or each and every testing thing, there needs to be a particular defined time, and it should be some particular person should be responsible for performing that action. So in that way, the testing can be completed within a specified time period, and the roles are clearly defined to avoid any kind of confusion. And the eighth point is testing tools. Testing tools is nothing but all the tools which are used in the complete testing process for bug reporting, for test management, for internal messaging. All these falls under testing tools. So last one is risk and assumptions. So before any testing team should start the testing of a product, they should know all the risks involved in that product. Like they should make sure that whether the testing and development is done in the same environment, whether the code is being freezed before every build is freezed or not during the time of testing. So these are the risks that needed to be considered before start of any testing of any software. So this falls under risk and assumptions. So yeah, ends the test plan. I'd like to proceed with the second question. The second question is explain equivalence partitioning with example. So equivalence class partitioning is nothing but, like, suppose for a particular feature of any software, there is a specified value which needed to be entered as input to test that particular feature. Suppose here, as you can see on the screen, for in this age feature, it accepts value only till 18 to 56. So what we can do in equivalence class partitioning is, instead of giving n number of inputs and wasting the testing time, what we can do is we can class the inputs so that the testing can be done within a specified time, and it should be sharp and crisp. Like for this, the value accepted is between 18 and 56. So what can be done is that it is being divided into three different classes, which is first invalid class is age less than or equal to 17. So this is the invalid class. Second one is the valid class, which falls under 18 to 56. And the third one is again the invalid class, which is greater than or equal to 57. So here, while we are testing this age feature, what we can do is we just need to enter three inputs, and we can check this feature in a very limited amount of time itself. Like one input we are going to put from the first invalid part, like which is less than or equal to 70, any one value from this part, and we can test the feature of age. Then second, we are going to put just one input from 18 to 56 in the age feature to test the feature. And the third input which we can give is greater than or equal to 57. So only by giving three inputs here, we are testing the whole bandwidth of 18 to 56 age value. So this is how we do equivalence class partitioning. I'd like to proceed with the next question, which is explain boundary value analysis with example. So here again, boundary value analysis also a testing approach. Like in boundary value analysis, uh, uh, what needs to be done is, like, suppose here I have explained it with the same example, the age feature. Here the age feature is accepting value between 18 to 56. So here, to be more accurate and exact, we need to test a minimum of 6 values. In the invalid, like from 18 to 56, we need to test age. If we consider 18 as one boundary and 56 as another boundary, so we are going to test around first the 18 age boundary, like 18 minus 1 and 18 plus 1 as a input in age feature. Then we are going to test 56 minus 1, 56 and 56 plus 1. So these are the 6 values which we need to enter while testing this age feature. So here the testing is more accurate, and chances of error is less. So this ends the boundary value analysis. And the fourth and last question is, explain difference between smoke testing and sanitary testing with example. So uh, smoke testing and sanitary testing is nothing but a type of testing. Smoke testing is done in a very initial stages of a build, when a build is developed, and it's like, you can say it's done on day 0 to check the basic functionality of the product. Like the overall main functionalities of the product are being checked in smoke testing. Whether in sanitary testing, after a number of builds, when for a particular feature, many times regression testing has been done, and then again a bug is faced, there we do the sanity testing. Sanity testing is nothing but a sub part of regression testing itself. So the basic difference between smoke testing and sanity testing is that smoke testing is done when the build is not even stable state, like we are not sure whether the build is stable or not. And in smoke testing, we know that the build is stable. It can be done only in stable state. In smoke testing, the testers and developers both are involved, like for the smoke testing, but in sanitary testing, only testers are involved in sanitary testing. Like in smoke testing, it can be done to check the acute or main features, while in sanitary testing, only one particular feature is being tested, on which the bug is being fixed, and the areas around it. Like whatever features are dependent on that particular feature on which the bug is fixed. I can explain this with an example of like we use the travel app Make My Trip for booking our flights and hotel booking. So like we can explain, like for smoke testing, we do the smoke testing on the basic features or functionality of the Make My Trip. Like first of all, the login feature, the register feature, and the basic function of for which the Make My Trip app is built, like to book the flight tickets, to select a destination, to select a date. Like these 3-4 features are very important feature, without which the Make My Trip app will not even work. So the basic main functionality is to be checked under smoke testing. Whether in sanitary testing, there are many different sub features in Make My Trip, like to select a seat, to select your meal. So like in those small features, when many builds are have undergone regression testing, then we do sanitary testing on those features. So this is the basic difference between smoke testing and sanitary testing. So I hope I have cleared all the questions to you. So yeah, thank you so much.